Hello and welcome to another episode of GameHammer Extra. I'm Zoe Kirk-Robinson, and today we're talking about these tiny arcades. In this case, Miss Pac-Man. Let's get straight into it. Now these things are very, very small. If you want to know how small it fits in the palm of my hand, you can easily end up with your hands in the way of the screen if you don't angle it carefully. So when you're playing these things, it's a little bit different from playing a proper arcade. As you would expect, everything is much, much smaller. It's also very much a novelty. It's a gimmick, a gadget, rather than a proper replica of the arcade. The game is there, and at one point I did manage to get it to play long enough that I could get to the first cutscene in the game where Miss Pac-Man meets Pac-Man. So the game is all there. It's just replicated. It's not the original hardware by any means. Everything moves in character jumps rather than as a fluid thing, and if you know the game really well, you will notice these differences. Having said that, I had a lot of fun with this game. It's really nicely put together. The arcade experience is kind of there in miniature form. It looks great. The joystick is actually really good. I found that the best part of the entire experience. The joystick works so well for this game. Left, right, up and down, it's all very solid, very fluid. It's great. I loved it. My biggest problem with it though, and I'm not alone in this, is the fact that it has a tendency to get locked on demo mode rather than let you play the proper game. I had to open it up and have a look inside to make sure that there wasn't like a plastic tab that I hadn't pulled out or anything like that. I cannot find anything inside this game that can knock it off demo mode. However, I've noticed that when you're playing, sometimes it'll flash a bit. If you press one of the buttons, that will generally stop the game from jumping back to the title screen because it thinks it's in demo mode. You press that and it doesn't do that. So there is that aspect, but I shouldn't have to do that. There should be a way of properly getting this off demo mode, and I'm not alone in this issue. Apparently it's like a manufacturing fault or something. Sometimes it gets stuck like that. For most people though, this is a decorative item, so it's not really going to cause a problem there if it's stuck on demo, and probably the majority of people who have these are going to play it once or twice and then put it on a shelf to look at and enjoy that way. From my point of view, I wanted to be able to actually play an arcade game of Pac-Man, and it's not quite up to that level. Aside from that though, as a novelty item, as a piece of retro gaming paraphernalia, and it's just something great to look at, it is excellent. They're fairly cheap, around £20, and they're pretty good value for money in that respect. The joystick, like I said, is great. I can understand that this would feel great if you played some of the other games like Galaga, and I think Dig Dug's on there as well. There are different arcades, and I've even seen one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade game, although I have heard that it's a little bit jerky and you can only play as one of the turtles, but I can't confirm that because I haven't yet got one. I will be looking out for that. But for a game of Pac-Man on the go, it has a keyring on the back. You can take it on the go with you quite easily. This is not bad, and I actually enjoyed it. So, would I recommend these? If you can get one that doesn't have the manufacturing issue and you can play the entire thing, that's great, but it will be a little bit jerky and a little bit blocky. It's not a pure representation of the arcade hardware. It is using some kind of emulator with an LCD screen. I understand that. There are limits to how you can do these things, but for the most part, I really like it. So yes, I can actually recommend this. It's great fun, and it's a lovely little piece that you can have as a conversation piece, put it on a shelf. People love it. It's like, oh, hey, you've got an arcade. They're great. They don't weigh too much. They don't take up a huge amount of space. It's shorter than the case for a Mega Drive or a PlayStation game. For example, I just grab a PlayStation. You all know the size of a DVD, don't you? There it is. It's not anywhere near the size of a DVD. You could fit two of these in the size of a DVD. So there you go. I have no idea where I got that from. On the shelf. That will do. I recommend these things. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. This is a short one because it's a GameHammer Extra, but I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have, remember to click that like button, share it with your friends so that they'll know a good game when they see it. Do join me for Wednesday, 9 PM BST, which is GMT+1, for GameHammer Live, and on Friday we'll have another episode of GameHammer. But until then, I've been Zoe Kirk-Robinson, you've been watching GameHammer Extra, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Happy gaming. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk-Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey 82, Mo Henry, and George Bortorini. Thank you so much, guys.